Hello, dear listener. Welcome to Selfware 5.0, where every story is told in calm, simple English. I am so happy you are here. Today, we share a gentle story about learning English with love, life, and meaning, not just tests. Take a deep breath in and breathe out slowly. Feel the soft, peaceful air. You are safe here. Your only task right now is to listen with your heart and let the words wash over you like a warm, gentle tide. We will speak slowly and clearly. I invite you to relax your body, maybe sit comfortably or lie down as you listen. This podcast is like a quiet conversation with a friend. Imagine you are in a cozy room, sipping tea, and we talk about life and learning. You do not have to rush. Feel free to close your eyes for a moment if you like. Just let the sound of my voice calm you. This space is soft and personal, like a warm blanket of sound. I want to set a gentle, meaningful tone. We will talk about a real story from Vietnam and Denmark and turn it into inspiration for you, the English learner. We will also explore how your brain can grow, how stories can help you remember, and how English can become part of your life, not just a class for passing tests. Remember, this is a safe place. If any thought feels big or heavy, just pause and breathe. You are not alone. We are here together, one word at a time. As we begin, ask yourself, have you ever felt like studying English is a big, heavy exam? Perhaps you felt nervous or tired of grammar exercises. Today's story is for you. It's about doing something differently, learning English for life, not just for a test. This is not a boring lecture. Think of it as a story, an inspiration, a motivational speech in the form of a calm podcast. It's about English stories, about motivation and self-improvement, and how learning a language can truly become a part of your everyday world. In the next hour or so, we will travel with our voices between two countries and between two ways of thinking. We'll explore study motivation, language learning, and even mental health as we learn. We'll pause and breathe together. We'll listen to motivational quotes and real transformation stories that remind us why we started learning English in the first place. Are you ready? Let us begin, slowly and softly. Let me tell you a story. It's about a mother and her son. The mother is from Vietnam but lives in Denmark. Her son just finished 9th grade in Denmark, which is like finishing middle school in Vietnam. He grew up in the Danish school system. In Denmark, English was not just a subject to pass exams. It was a living language used every day at school. 2 weeks ago, the boy took a big end-of-year exam. He had an English speaking test. In that test, he had to talk about medieval history and describe a famous Danish story about an old flag. He spoke for 5 minutes, then answered questions from a panel for another 10 minutes or so. He did this all in English. Remember, this was an exam for 9th grade, but it was given like the old Vietnamese middle school leaving exam, just spoken instead of written. Now, here is the interesting part. After we told him the story about current exam debates in Vietnam, he wanted to try a Vietnamese high school English test. He agreed and even asked his mother to watch the clock, like a real exam hall. He did the whole exam in 48 minutes, the usual time, and he got 37 out of 40 answers right. Then he said to us with a smile, "The test is not difficult." You hear that? Not difficult. 37 out of 40 right. A ninth grader, under no pressure, who never had test training, found the test easy. Maybe you know how exams feel. Sometimes they make us worried or scared. So, how could he find it easy? Is he just lucky or very smart? The answer, this mother realized, is not about being smart or lucky. It is about how the brain is trained to learn. Imagine this. The boy did not study for that exam at all, not 1 minute. He just grew up with English as part of his everyday life from first grade. Every day in his school, English was all around him. He played games in English, sang songs, listened to podcasts for children, watched cartoons and movies in English. He learned not by doing sample test questions, but by story and project. He talked about history, told stories, wrote about his feelings, made school projects in English. From a Vietnamese news story, in Denmark, from primary school, children are exposed to English through stories, songs, films, podcasts from very early on. They use English to discuss, write emotions, and create projects, not to do test papers. They do not learn test tricks or write answers. Instead, they learn how to understand and how to speak. They think in English. They learn English by thinking in English. This means at school he was using English all the time. He didn't memorize a list of vocabulary or grammar rules to pass a test. He felt English. He lived English. Because of this, when he saw a test question, he understood it easily. His mind was already used to reading and thinking in English. He said, "The test is not difficult." Now think about yourself. Have you ever felt the opposite? Maybe you studied English for many hours and yet still felt a reading was hard or an exam question was tricky. That is common. Even students who study for months or years sometimes feel stuck on a long reading or a hard question. Why? Because maybe they learned English like a test, not as a living language. In that same Vietnamese news story, one parent said it simply, "Students learn English just to pass exams, not to use English in daily life." He pointed out that in schools, students just do grammar exercises and practice writing. They don't have listening and speaking lessons, and therefore, they only learn English to get grades. Pause here. Take a quiet breath in and out. Feel that truth sink in. In Vietnam, English is often taught with lists of words and grammar rules for an exam. But in Denmark, English is something you live. One way makes tests easier, the other doesn't. Does that make sense? Let's look at this idea more. In Vietnam, English is often a class we study to get a grade. We memorize vocabulary, do grammar drills, and practice old exam papers. We want to pass the test. But real life is different. In the world, English is a tool to learn and to talk to others. The story from Denmark shows another approach. From a young age, Danish students had English like a friend. They listened to music, watched cartoons, read stories in English. They wrote about their feelings and talked about their day in English. They worked on projects with English, even if the subject was science or history. They didn't memorize the right answer to a question. They practiced understanding, speaking, thinking in English. Compare that to typical school in Vietnam. The focus is on pass an exam. We drill grammar, learn separate words, practice test strategies, and copy answers. In such classes, there is very little practice of real English, the skills of listening, speaking, or free writing. So here's the key. If your brain is used to thinking in English, problems become simple. The boy said he reads easily and passed the test easily. In the news article, the mother explains, because my son has never done exam drills, but he thinks in English every day. He reads easily and passes the exam simply. Meanwhile, Vietnamese students, who studied for months, years, still fumble on a long reading or an inference question. This is a big idea. It's not about being smarter or faster. It's about how you learned. The difference is the way of learning, not the ability. If you always learn English by exam drills, your mind gets used to that mode. If you learn English by using it in life, your mind gets used to English as a tool to understand the world. I invite you to reflect. Have you ever felt tired of memorizing grammar rules? Have you wondered, will I ever use this language outside school? It's okay to feel that. Many students ask, what is English for? Why do I have to do these drills? Today we'll see a different perspective. Before we go deeper, let's pause. Listen. Around you, perhaps there are gentle sounds. A fan, distant traffic, birds. Connect with those as your mind turns to the idea of story and memory. Did you know that our brains remember stories much better than isolated facts? It's true. Scientists say that if you wrap a lesson inside a story, you recall it more easily. In fact, Harvard researchers found that learning from a well-told story sticks much longer than learning from dry facts. A famous psychologist, Jerome Bruner, found something similar. Facts are 20 times more likely to be remembered if they are part of a story. Why? Because stories connect with our feelings. When you hear or read a story, your mind creates pictures and emotions. You feel it. Facts alone are flat, but a story makes them alive. This matters for English learning. When Danish kids hear a story in English, they understand the whole picture, characters, places, feelings. They don't just memorize the word castle. They feel the medieval castle and the story of that flag in 1219. This emotional connection makes the language stick. So here's a gentle tip. Learn English through stories. Read a simple tale, watch a short video, or even listen to a sleep story in English. Let your mind imagine it. When you connect a new word with an image or a feeling, you remember it more. Think about your favorite story in your language. How do the images come alive in your mind when you remember it? Now imagine doing that in English, like that's a secret key that unlocks your memory. Even the simple stories your teacher told in class can become that key. Now I want to share a piece of advice, straight from teachers. If you want to learn a language, surround yourself with it and use it. One Cambridge English teacher says she would tell students, speak, listen, respond, communicate. Not just memorize grammar on paper, but use the language. She learned languages by living where they were spoken. As she put it, Her English truly became fluent only when she went to a university where English was unavoidable. This is called an immersive experience when you live inside the language. Research backs this up. Studies show that students who learn in an immersive way, for example, studying abroad or in bilingual programs, become more fluent. In these situations, your motivation is high because you need the language to belong or to fit in. Our brains love connection. When we only feel connected to others through a new language, we work hard to learn it. It's okay if you can't move to another country. You can create immersion at home. Watch a movie in English, listen to music, or have short conversations in English. Think of your room as having an English corner with books, flashcards, or notes. Even this podcast is a small piece of immersion. You hear my voice, English being spoken, and your mind starts to adapt. And starting young helps a lot. Scientists talk about the critical period. Children learn languages more naturally just by listening and playing. They don't need to study grammar rules. They pick them up almost by magic. So if you have young friends or siblings, maybe ask them to teach you a fun phrase or two. Let's pause and list some big ideas. Why learn English, really? The Vietnamese parent in our story said that teachers and students should understand the purpose of learning a new language deeply. He pointed out 4 shared goals for learning English, or any language. Although he wrote in Vietnamese, I will put them simply. Speak with others. English is a tool to communicate. By learning, you can talk with more people, share your feelings, understand theirs, and connect hearts. Open new doors. English can help you study or work in new places. Maybe you want to take a class abroad or get a job in a company that uses English. Grow your mind. Learning a language makes you think in new ways. It can sharpen your creativity and problem solving. It's also about building confidence. Every time you speak, you learn to overcome fear. Be part of the world. English is one way to join the global community. When you speak another language, you join a new group of friends around the world. These goals were mentioned as shared by learners. They remind us, English isn't just a test. It's about life and growing yourself. Have you ever thought about why you study English? Maybe you want better jobs. Maybe you want to watch your favorite TV shows without subtitles. Maybe to talk to friends on the internet. All these are great reasons. Keeping these in mind can change your focus from just passing a class to building a future. Now let's talk about your brain. Yes, your brain. Did you know your brain is like a muscle? Just as your body muscles grow stronger when you exercise them, your brain grows when you learn new things. This idea is called a growth mindset. It means believing that your intelligence and skills can change and improve. Researchers say that when students hold this growth mindset, thinking I can get better if I try, they often do better in school and feel happier. Also, your brain literally changes. Scientists talk about neuroplasticity, meaning the brain can form new connections. Every time you learn an English word or understand a sentence, your brain makes a new pathway, like a fresh little road of knowledge. So if you feel you are not good at English now, remember, you are training your brain like a muscle. Every small practice helps. Even if it feels hard, tell yourself, I can grow, I can learn. It may be slow at first, but over time, you will see change. In fact, being bilingual changes your brain for the better. Studies show that bilingual people often have sharper attention and thinking skills. They can switch between tasks more easily. Think of it this way. Your brain is exercising by juggling two languages, and that keeps it fit. Even older bilingual people often keep their minds healthy longer. So each time you listen to an English song or write a sentence, you are doing brain exercise. You are building strong neural muscles. Give yourself credit. Learning a language is one of the best things you can do for your mind. Learning a new language is not just an academic task. It's a personal journey. It affects your feelings and confidence. Did you know that language learning can help your mental health? It's true. Researchers and language teachers say that studying a language can reduce stress and anxiety. How so? When you focus on learning, it gives your mind a positive purpose and takes you out of negative thoughts. It's like a gentle form of meditation or self-care. Also, every time you succeed, say you understood a sentence or you used a new phrase, your self-esteem boosts. You think, yes, I did it. That feeling of accomplishment is very healthy. A blog on language and mental health even listed 5 ways language learning boosts your well-being. It can reduce stress, beat social anxiety, fight depression, raise confidence, and even delay brain aging. For example, just focusing on a language task can calm your nervous system, the way that active learning can manage stress better than just lying down. Speaking with a partner in English, making mistakes, and getting better, that helps you overcome social anxiety. And remember the final of those 5. Learning languages can delay cognitive decline by a few years. In a way, every word you learn is building a shield around your mind for the future. So when you practice English, think of it also as taking care of your brain and heart. It's personal development as well as study. You are not just learning words, you are gaining a new lens to see life. As Italian film director Federico Fellini said, a different language is a different vision of life. Isn't that beautiful? Each language gives you a new world inside your mind. Throughout your journey, it's inspiring to hear from others who walked a similar path. Let me share a few quotes that can lift your spirit. Think of them like pearls of wisdom along your road. Frank Smith said, "One language sets you in a corridor for life. 2 languages open every door along the way." This reminds us that with English, you open doors to new opportunities. If you know multiple languages, imagine the whole world of doors opening. Nelson Mandela gave a moving message. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart. In other words, speaking someone's language can touch them deeply. Learning English lets you touch people's hearts around the world, not just their minds. Amy Chua, a writer, once said, "Do you know what a foreign accent is? It's a sign of bravery. You can be brave every time you speak, even if you have an accent. It means you dared to try. Neil Gaiman, a famous author, said, "I hope that in this year to come, you make mistakes. Because if you are making mistakes, then you are making new things, trying new things, learning, living." He reminds us, mistakes are good. Every mistake is proof that you are growing. In language learning, making errors means you are exploring. Benjamin Franklin taught, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." Every hour you invest in learning English will pay back many times over in the future. And one more. Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. This means the English you learn will stay with you, no matter where you go. It's a lifelong treasure. Imagine these quotes as gentle encouragement each day. You could even write one on a note and stick it on your mirror. Your effort today builds a better you. Let's pause again. I want you to take a moment. Put your hand on your chest or your stomach and feel it rise and fall as you breathe. Notice any tension in your body and imagine breathing it out. Now reflect quietly. What is your own English learning story? Think about when you first started. What made you curious about English? Maybe you wanted to travel or watch movies or talk to someone. Keep that reason in mind. Have you ever felt afraid to speak or like giving up? It's okay. We all have those moments. When you feel that, try asking yourself, what would I say if no one was listening? What words do I really want to use right now? That is a clue to a story in your heart. Imagine a small, peaceful moment. Maybe at night, you lie in bed and listen to a short sleep story in English. Just a soft voice telling a bedtime tale. That's one way to learn without pressure. English can be part of your listening time when you unwind. Or maybe you wake up and play a calm English song, letting the words gently fill your morning with inspiration. Have you ever tried talking to yourself in English? It may feel silly at first, but even describing your simple actions helps. I am brushing my teeth. I am opening the door to a new day. These are tiny steps to thinking in English. And here's a gentle secret. You already know more than you think. Every movie you watched with subtitles, every song you hummed, every sign you read in English, they add up. Your brain is collecting pieces of the puzzle. Sometimes you just need the confidence to speak the puzzle aloud. Now let's gather some practical tips you can try. Think of these as small steps or habits you can add to your day. You don't have to do them all at once. Just pick one or two that feel right. Daily English moments. Try to have some English every day. It could be listening to an English podcast like this one, watching a short YouTube clip, or reading a simple story. Even 5 to 10 minutes daily adds up. Remember, small efforts consistently will make big change over time. Use English for real. Write a diary entry in English each night. It can be one sentence or one paragraph. Today I ate noodles. I felt happy. It connects English to your life. Or text a friend or online community in English. Even with emojis. Language is language, even with pictures. Learn through songs and movies. Put on a song you love in English. Look up the lyrics. Sing along. Don't worry if your accent is not perfect. This is how children learn. You feel the emotion in music and new words sneak into your heart. Movies and TV shows are also great. Watch with subtitles first, then try without as you get better. Talk to yourself. Yes, really? Narrate your actions. Now I am cooking rice. The water is hot. I add some salt. It sounds silly, but you are practicing thinking in English. Or ask yourself questions and answer out loud. How are you feeling today? I feel calm and hopeful. Shadowing. Find a short audio clip of someone speaking English, news, a speech, anything. Listen and try to speak at the same time, copying their words and melody. This is called shadowing and helps your pronunciation and rhythm. It's also how you can practice an American accent if you like an American teacher's voice. Do it gently, as if you're singing. Learn by stories. Try to read or listen to short stories. At first, pick very easy ones. Children's stories are great. See how a single story uses a few repeating words and phrases. When you understand a story, the words inside make sense in context. Over time, try stories with a bit more complexity. Brain breaks. If you feel stuck or stressed, just take a pause. Sit quietly for a minute, close your eyes, and take deep breaths. Say softly to yourself, I can learn this. A relaxed mind learns faster. Buddy up. If possible, find a study buddy or a language partner. You could be each other's motivator. Even chatting with a friendly online tutor or joining an English learners group once a week can give you courage. Real conversation makes you grow. Here is a bullet list you can remember for daily English habits. Listen. Repeat every day. Listen to one sentence of English, pause, and say it yourself. It could be from this podcast or any recording. Speak, laugh, tell a joke, or a simple story in English, even to yourself. It's okay to make mistakes. Often we laugh and learn the most from them. Read feel. Read a short English paragraph. If one sentence is hard, read it aloud several times. Close your eyes and imagine the scene. Write grow, journal 2,3 new words or a sentence a day. Then next day, use them in a phrase. Small steps build confidence. Breathe, relax. Remember to breathe slowly if you feel anxious. Say, this is a story time, not a test. Relax your mind and heart. Notice how all these tips come back to one theme. Make English a natural part of your life. Not just a school subject, but a friend that grows with you. Near the end of our time together, I want you to hold one thought in your mind. You matter. Yes, you, listening to these words. Your efforts to learn English, to improve yourself, are not small. Every word you speak, every sentence you read, helps you grow. You are making a promise to yourself to be a bit braver every day. Learning a language is like planting a tree. At first the seed is small, the roots seem hidden. You water it a little each day by practicing. Sometimes it rains, and sometimes it doesn't. But slowly, the seed sprouts. After a while, you see green leaves, your first words, your first sentence without fear. Keep watering it. This podcast is like gentle rain. Remember dreams. Perhaps you dream of a job abroad, or feeling calm talking to foreigners, or simply opening an app and understanding every word. Those dreams are seeds. Language is the soil that can help them grow. As we finish, I want to share one more quote. A famous thinker, Lee Iacocca, said, "You can have brilliant ideas, but if you can get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere." This is why learning English can be so powerful. You have ideas in your mind, in any language. Every time you learn a bit more English, you are taking those ideas and putting them on the map of the world. Now, feel the silence for a moment. Let the words we shared sink in. You've heard stories of Denmark and Vietnam, of science and motivation. You've reflected on your own heart. You have gentle permission now to simply breathe. Inhale, exhale. You are here, and that is important. You are listening, and each moment of listening is a step forward. Give yourself a silent pat on the back. As we close this episode, let's gather our thoughts into hope. You are on a journey. Sometimes the path is soft and easy. Sometimes it has bumps. But remember, each step matters. Each time you try, your mind changes a little and your future changes a little. Look ahead with calm confidence. You can grow your English, not overnight, but bit by bit, through stories and real use. The difference between learning for a test and learning for life is like night and day. Today we saw that night can turn into day. Very soon, the idea "I learn English to live," not just for exams, can become true for everyone, maybe even in Vietnam one day. I want you to know, you matter. Your struggles and victories, your fears and hopes, they are all part of your story. This story is not just about exams or grades. It is about you. You are growing, learning, becoming who you want to be. If something I said today helped you feel a bit stronger or more peaceful, I invite you to pass it on. If this helped you, maybe share it with someone you care about. Perhaps a friend needs to hear these gentle words too. In Selfware 5.0, we believe in kindness, sharing, and growing together. I hope you keep listening, keep learning, keep dreaming. The journey continues on the next episodes, the next chapters of your story. You have all the tools, breathing moments, inspiring stories, motivational quotes, and the soft voice of this podcast to guide you. Thank you for being here with me in your calm space to listen and to learn. I send you a warm goodbye and a gentle promise. You can do this. Until next time, keep your heart open, keep practicing, and remember, you have a world of English stories waiting for you. Goodbye for now, and sweet dreams.